Are you ever just looking at your marketing efforts and feeling like something's broken? You're pouring money and time in, but the growth you expect just isn't happening? If that sounds even a little bit familiar, you are in exactly the right place. Let's break down why this is happening. Does that hit home? Look, you're not imagining things. The rules of the game have totally changed. We've got privacy updates, all these new platform automations, and massive shifts in how search engines work. It's made marketing way more complex and honestly, a lot more expensive than it used to be. So after digging into hundreds of businesses, we found that it usually comes down to 5 specific problems. We call them the silent ROI killers. These are the things that quietly drain your budget and just stop your growth cold. All right, number 1, your data is probably a mess. Whether it's a botched setup of the new Google Analytics 4, those confusing consent pop-ups, or just bad tracking tags, the end result is always the same. You can't trust your numbers. It's like you're making huge budget decisions with a blindfold on. Second, it is just getting more and more expensive to win a customer. Ad costs are climbing, and the platforms are all pushing these black box automated tools. You know the ones. You put money in, but you have very little control or even visibility into how it's actually being spent. Without a super sharp strategy, your cost per lead just keeps going up and up. And next up, your website traffic feels totally unpredictable, right? Google's major updates are now all about one thing: helpful content. And if your site isn't genuinely answering your customers' real questions, you can lose that precious organic traffic, like overnight. Problem number 4 is something we call random acts of content. You're busy, you're publishing blog posts, you're putting stuff on social media, but without a clear strategy or a real plan to get it in front of people, it's all just noise. It's not actually generating leads or helping your sales team close deals. And finally, your emails might not even be getting seen. Thanks to new rules from Gmail and Yahoo, it's tougher than ever to land in the main inbox. And let's be real, if your emails are going to spam, you're losing out on what is very often your absolute highest return channel. Now, here's the real issue. Any one of these problems on its own is a headache, for sure. But when you put them together, they create this vicious cycle of wasted money, reports you can't trust, and just so many missed opportunities for growth. So, okay, what does this actually look like in the real world for a business like yours? Let's break down the impact. If you're a local business, the impact is immediate. The phone just rings less. You get fewer people walking in the door, fewer online bookings, and fewer people looking you up for directions. Put simply, your connection to your local community starts to get weaker. And if you run an e-commerce store, you feel this right in your profit margins. Your cost to get a new customer goes up, you see more and more abandoned shopping carts, and you start losing out on all that amazing revenue from your loyal, repeat customers. And for online service businesses, it pretty much looks like an empty calendar. You're getting fewer qualified consultations booked, and your whole sales cycle just seems to drag on, becoming way longer and less efficient than it should be. But here is the good news. All of these problems, they are totally fixable. You don't have to try and do everything at once. You just need to focus on 5 key areas to really get things back on track. Getting back on track really does follow a clear, logical path. It all starts with fixing your tracking so you can finally trust your data again. From there, we can improve your ad efficiency, build an SEO strategy around truly helpful content, create a real content plan, and then make sure your emails are actually getting delivered and seen. And here's the kind of transformation you can expect. Broken data? That becomes confident decision-making. High ad costs? They become a lower, much more efficient cost per lead. Those scary SEO drops turn into a steady, reliable stream of qualified traffic. Random content becomes a system that actually supports your sales process. And email failures, they turn into more revenue. Simple as that. At the end of the day, the solution isn't about adding more complexity or buying yet another piece of software. It's about getting total clarity on what's actually broken and then applying the right, targeted fixes. So the big question is, are you ready to stop all the guesswork and start building a marketing system that actually consistently drives growth for your business? We've got 2 ways for you to get started right now. If you're the type who wants to tackle this yourself, go ahead and download our free guide. It walks you through these fixes step by step. Or if you'd rather just talk it through with an expert, you can book a free, no-obligation consultation to discuss your specific challenges. Because when your marketing is clear and effective, it builds visibility, it builds trust, and most importantly, it builds real, sustainable growth for your business.